From the age of Big Brother.
If they want to get you, they'll get you. The NSA specifically targets the communications of everyone. They're collecting your communications.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome aboard tonight's edition of Thoughtcrime. And we're here in our normally stated, wonderfully capitalist, wonderfully flowing with milk and honey confines here to do the show. And of course, we haven't had any trouble at all lately causing freakouts all over the internet, whether it be Saturday night, the #1 streaming for the entire weekend, then a massive war going all over social media. All heck has broken loose. Let's see what's going on. Who do we have here today?
Jack Posobiec! Taco burrito, arriba pinto!
I wear this against my will.
Wow.
I was just given this.
What are you guys talking about? We are wearing glorious sombreros.
I feel like you're making fun of my people.
Every week on this show.
It's so funny. The internet thinks I'm Jewish. I'm just quarter Mexican.
Aren't those
he
the
is,
same
in fact, a quarter Mexican.
Nope, they're not. But we are talking about burrito.
Why are we talking about burritos? Also, why are 3 of us wearing sombreros and Mikey is
I
not
have
wearing
one.
It's
Keep it
got a
on your
little
head.
thing.
You have to wear it.
Okay, fine.
You have to wear that. You have to wear the
Well, I'm
sombrero.
taking
You
my
can't
phone.
even tell that this is because I have yellow behind. Okay, here.
I'm taking mine off.
Didn't we have
Why?
Didn't we have more than 2 of the big ones from before?
Look, I think this is a perfectly reasonable distribution of sombrero. We have
equal distribution.
that is you know, it's not the size of the sombrero. It's how you wear
counts.
it.
It's what you do with it.
equal distribution.
So for those that are going to listen to this eventually, we are wearing sombreros. Anyways, just thought.
Well, all of us except Mikey, who only has like a tiny little baby
I
sombrero
have a
on.
1/5 of a sombrero.
Again,
I need sombrero
you guys
reparations.
are too obsessed with size maxing on your sombrero.
This is the socialist sombrero. You will be happy with less. You will love it.
Sombrero maxing.
All right. So why are we talking? I don't know what we're talking about this for. Nobody's talking about.
Well, we should probably talk about burritos.
Yes. Well,
I
we
did
all
a thing
That's what I
by
thought you were talking
accident. I accidentally caused a conversation. You know, Jack, you're the Twitter expert. Why did this go viral?
Well, so it's funny. So like all last week, I made the comment attacking like crony capitalism last week on the show, and we were going after Kevin O'Leary, and that became like people freaked out, and that became like this huge trend. And then Andrew, you kind of waded in I would say like in a very similar vein with this tweet about a burrito shouldn't cost $20. And yes, the very same people who were losing their minds at me, largely neocons, were all starting to attack you. And
I didn't feel that attacked
because
I didn't feel very attacked.
Like,
I felt there was like so much backup.
Like you're just saying like a burrito shouldn't cost $20. And this is something
blame Biden
and just
inflation.
Just to say right from the very start that people need to remember that the original co-host of this show, Charlie Kirk, this was a topic that he talked about at great length throughout all of 2025, did his sit-down interview with Tucker, and was walking through all of the problems that young Americans are facing, and specifically outlined it by saying that if we want to prevent the rise of Mandami-style candidates, then we need to actually address the economic concerns of young Americans. And from my perspective, that's all that I was saying. From your perspective, it seems to be in line with what you were saying about burritos, obviously, and because Charlie would listen to those same Turning Point students and college students that would come up at events and different things, and he was hearing their concerns and bringing it forward. That's where Charlie got it from. So when you're saying one of our college students at Turning Point said that to me, it's like, well, yeah, that's exactly what Charlie was talking about. This type of stuff, or the buy now, pay later, et cetera, that I learned that from BNPL. I learned that from listening to Charlie. And so just meeting people where they are. And boy, oh boy, did the neocons freak out.
Yeah, so I just want to make
At
one
us.
thing really clear. I did not actually feel very attacked. I mean, Mark Thiessen came after me, I guess, Cry Me a River. Do we have that tweet?
Well, he did attack you.
Yeah,
Regardless whether
Cry
you
Me a
felt it or
River.
not.
Your burritos are included in the meal plan. And I'm like, are they? Like, it's like
Guys, I just want to note we're getting criticism from the chat that Andrew and Mikey are not showing commitment to the
I
bit.
don't even have
Keep
a sombrero.
the hat on. That's
listen,
what they're saying.
I have
don't
more
understand
Mexican
what's
in my
so
little
hard about
finger than you
wearing a
will
hat.
ever have in your head.
I know.
Andrew, shouldn't you?
That's why you should put it on.
A quarter of you, Andrew. A quarter of you is fighting against the other 3/4 of you.
I am
A quarter of you
mostly
wants the
English and
sombrero.
Irish. I will have the world know.
It
Wow,
needs the
English,
sombrero.
Irish, Mexican.
You're like, but my one arm is
Fine,
drawn
fine,
to the
fine.
sombrero.
There we go.
I
And all is right in the world.
just
Gosh, I look so
need-
much better than you guys in it. It's crazy.
I know, it fits
just
you.
fits.
Well, yes, because
you're
it
people
like
were
melds
designed
to my
for it.
head. It's like Arthur
Yeah.
and the sword. Just
Exactly.
It's just meant
Yeah.
for me. Okay, so I
It's-
just want
it's
to say
your
I did not feel that attacked. There were people that made valid points. Joel Berry was like actually the first who I think incidentally made it go viral. So Joel Berry used to work at the Babylon Bee. I think now he's working with Jeremy Boring on his show. He quote tweeted me basically saying that his wife paid for all of dinner, made dinner for what, like a family of 8 or something like that? Like they have a big family, I think, with $20. And I was like, well, first of all, that's great. Love cooking for home, often much cheaper and much healthier. But now when you tell me you cooked for a family of 8 for $20, I'm wondering how like healthy that was.
Yeah.
Anyways, so I mean, I think it was all like, here's my point. And we could throw up. Look at this. Look at how many headlines have come out of this, by the way. 30. Show up image 30. Like, this is like, Jack, I probably had 20 people, 25 people just text me being like, only thing on my scroll is burritos. And I was like, dang, what happened?
It's a very important
Literally,
subject.
only point I was
by
making.
the way, we should probably say that what really took this into the stratosphere, and I think got a lot of the news involved, was that our great vice president, who's kind of been like, he's been taking like a little bit of a Twitter break, at least from his spiciness, if you will.
Yeah, he got into this. He came after.
He
Thiessen.
waded right in, and he said, so Mark Thiessen, who is, he is, shall we say, horizontally challenged, he would say,
I think
I'm
he's not
surprised to
horizontally
hear...
challenged. He seems...
Well, no, he's, no, you're
not
right. He's
vertically
horizontally
challenged.
gifted.
Yeah.
He's horizontally gifted. Yes, he's horizontally gifted.
Yeah.
Horizontally gifted. And he said, I'm surprised to hear Mark say this. If you've ever met him in person, it's quite obvious the man has never missed a burrito.
Look, we can talk about the viral thing. Guys, we need to dive into like the true, deeper thought crime element, which is how much should one spend for a burrito? And I was very appalled today to discover that for all his discussion on how much a burrito should cost, Andrew apparently tips at Chipotle, guys. We need to confront this fact.
Listen,
What?
I have
We need
a
to
heart
dive
for young
in.
Americans. What's the
They're
problem?
not even, some of them aren't even young.
Well, I will tell you that does impact my tip. When I see a young person working hard at a
Dude,
fast food
other
restaurant,
way around for me.
Oh, I'm like,
No.
good.
Are
Good on
you saying you don't tip if they're not American?
And yeah.
No, he
that what you
only
just
tips
said?
Mexicans because
If
he
I
only
could
takes
ask
care
for
of his
their
own
card,
race.
If I could ask for their card,
I see.
their
It's
papers,
racial. Got it.
If I could ask for their papers, I'd be like, Save America Act. Sorry, no citizenship, no tip.
He says he only tips La Raza.
I actually only like to tip old people that I see. Oh my gosh. Old people working at fast food restaurants because I feel bad that they're not like retired or like
No, some of them like to work.
Here's the deal.
Yeah. Hey,
I
by the
tip-
way, Jack, Mikey says I was not attacked. I was praised.
I didn't see you really get attacked.
I
Other than the
had
smart
so much
guy.
back. I mean, I got like.
No. It's not that you weren't. Obviously, there were a lot of people who had your back, like myself included, and many others in the comments. But you were attacked by the neocons. That's what I'm saying is they launched an attack on you for saying this.
I couldn't believe that
and then
burritos
people
became
came
a
to the
proxy for
response.
Iran. Burritos became
It
a
is a
proxy
proxy
for
for
the
Iran.
Iran war because everybody who pushed the Iran war was like, prices aren't that bad. It's going to be just fine.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's not even what I'm talking about. I'm talking about COVID era inflation, printing trillions of dollars, and Biden by near inflation. Okay, that's what I was talking about. Because when you have 30% inflation stack up over like 4 years, I'm sorry, you're not going to turn that Titanic around in like on a dime. It's going to take some time. Yeah, the Iran war has not probably helped inflation. It's caused a supply side shock on the energy side, which is inflated energy prices, of course. But I believe those are temporary, and we can get out from under those, especially if we get a peace deal, which I guess people like Mark Thiessen don't want a peace deal. They want full regime change or something. But like the point is, the fact that it became a proxy jack for Iran is absolutely stunning. I actually think, and I haven't thought about this enough until this moment, that the fact that they were so invested in that side of the argument that they were like, oh, just get a meal plan, and oh, you guys are a bunch of babies, you need to cook from home and eat $3.99 burritos filled with fake meat, like actually is a tell of how insecure they are about Iran.
Yeah, it is, because they know it's unpopular. They know that people are kind of up in arms about it. Look, I was down in Chattanooga last week at this conference with Barnes and Viva Frei, Rich Barris, and people were, this is like just a grassroots conference. People from all over the country came in, and people were coming up to me saying, what is going on with this? Why are we doing this? Why are we in Iran? Where are the mass deportations? That's what we thought we voted for. Where's the golden age? Why are prices on everything up? And burritos just kind of became this convenient shorthand, I think, for a lot of that frustration. And particularly, you could say it's anti-elite, and for sure, Mark Thiessen is obviously an elite. And
the memes on Mark are brutal.
It's, and the memes, yes. Well, I may have made a few.
Did you see 28? Did you see 28? I didn't see this until we did show prep. But this is...
Which one?
Mark, this is Mark Antoinette, 28.
Marquia Antoinette. Yeah, I'm not sure exactly who made this. It did appear on my Twitter profile, though. So and it said,
it was you. Okay,
let them.
Fair enough.
Let them make burritos.
Let them cook
Which,
their
by the
own
way,
burritos.
And it does need to be said that every time I bring this up, that Marie Antoinette actually never said that. And in fact, she was actually known as a woman of great charity at the time. And the communists have really just besmirched her good name. And, she actually doesn't deserve that. But Mark Thiessen does. So that's why it's there.
All right. JD's tweet. And then, I was actually reacting. Okay, so here, and you should chime in on this, Mikey. And Blake, actually. My whole point was that it is political malfeasance not to acknowledge the real lived experience of your voters. So you
Obviously.
might think that everybody is a bunch of whiny babies that just need to pull themselves up by their own bootstraps, which in general, there is a place for that kind of correction. But Blake and I, we spoke to these kids. These are good kids. They're mostly Christian kids that we were talking to. And a lot of them are economically illiterate. Like, we've got to work on economic literacy in this country. But, second of all, they're really trying hard. They're doing all the right things. And it was a simple throwaway comment. I don't know, it's still expensive because, it feels weird that a burrito costs $20. And then, everybody's freaking out. But I think we got to address the needs, wants, and concerns, anxieties of younger voters if we have any hope of recapturing them in the coalition.
Well, we do, but I go back and forth on this in truth, because even if it's really obnoxious when Dan Crenshaw, there's this sort of male-to-male transsexual aspect of this that manifests where they have to be like, I'm such a man and you whiny baby kids you need your avocado toast and your burrito. And they do this very performative thing, and it's very annoying. But it is also true that, in fact, if you want to get ahead in life, one of the fastest things you can do is spend less on fast food. And a huge reason that young people actually are not getting ahead economically is they objectively, compared to prior generations, blow more of their money on stupid stuff. So they blow more of their money on fast food, and especially delivery. Just if you want, use DoorDash and Instacart and all of that, you can easily bleed yourself to death. Just too much delivery. And then they do sports gambling, if you're running that at a negative, which you almost certainly are because you get banned from the apps if you make money off them. If you're doing that, if you're doing a bunch of crypto speculation on stupid coins that go to zero, and then you blow money on drinking with your friends, you blow money on infinity other things you can buy online, that you run out of money, and then you say, oh, I ran out of money and I'm poor, and like we need socialism as a solution. I do think we need the ability to confront that and say, like, this is a fixable problem that a lot of people refuse to fix, and we should reject demagogue politics that say otherwise.
I can, so I guess my response to that is like, I can remember when burritos were $1. And I remember being in college and like a burrito, like not a big fancy burrito, but like one of those, like the value menu was a thing. And I definitely remember when burritos or, something McDonald's have the dollar menu. So remember it was the dollar menu, but then the dollar menu became the value menu. And then and I don't even know if they have that anymore. So this idea that, our country has become more expensive and some of these goods have become more expensive, it's just true. It's just obviously true that this isn't something you can just kind of buy with like pocket change anymore. And you could just grab like a quick, I'm not saying it's healthy. I'm not saying it's like, anything that you should be doing. And yes, you do have to do that sometime. But people also forget, I think, a lot that when you cook at home, there's a time cost involved with that. And if you're young, if you're working and you're going to school at the same time, or if you have internships, that how much time do you have left for cooking? I'm not saying it takes a long time to do that. I'm just saying that it's much easier to grab and go some food and then go do that. On the flip side, a lot of people were pointing out, I saw as well, they're like, oh, just have your wife cook. And it's like, well, a lot of young people aren't getting married either, and they have problems with that as well. So you have all of these compound problems, or should I say, multi-layered problems kind of stacked together, almost like a 5-layer problem that they're dealing with, and a 3-cheese solution right around the corner. And it just exploded. The burrito exploded. And that's why the burrito beef has taken over.
I like that.
I've
been calling it the great burrito debate of 2026.
I
but
will
the burrito
know.
beef is
I will know.
Credit where it's
Even
due.
now,
I got that from Trace Gallagher when he came on today.
People are saying, I remember when a burrito was $1 or $2. And I would just note that we have had culinary inflation in the U.S. And so the burrito you had when you were a kid was at Taco Bell, and it was crap. And I've decided to check. And the cheapest burrito at Taco Bell is still $1.50. And it's a basic cheesy bean and rice burrito, and I bet it is nasty.
Is that a
because
burrito or
it's
is that a
Taco
soft
Bell.
taco?
Taco Bell's nasty. I'm just going to say
It's a burrito.
Sorry.
Wait, does that have 0 protein in it?
It is a cheese, bean, and rice burrito. You can
bean,
get a
okay.
regular bean burrito for $1.99. I think the cheapest one you can get that has some form of meat, they have the cheesy double beef burrito for $2.99.
Okay.
$2.99 is not bad.
So we had to actually do some research and see if $20 burritos were actually a thing. I'm going to say affirmatively they are. I don't think that they are
because
the average
you tip
cost.
40% on all of your Chipotle orders, Andrew.
So this was interesting. We have the video, right? I don't know which number it is, but we actually took the team for a burrito trip to Chipotle today. But I have to say, this is what was very fascinating about this experiment. And I think, Jack, you went and got your own burrito, correct? So
I did, but I did not go to Chipotle. I went to Qdoba.
Yeah, which both had a
It's better.
salmonella
So much better.
outbreak. Okay, so clip 6 is you can follow some of the team down to Chipotle. We did an experiment and wanted to see what the price. I hadn't eaten at Chipotle in a long time. I know you do it like all the time. You had your double rice. order
I
and
eat
all that
it.
stuff.
I ate it yesterday.
Yeah, well, you ate it
And
today.
today.
I was gonna say.
And the day before that, actually.
SOT 6. Let's
Now that
play.
I think about it.
We're about to run an experiment.
Can you narrate this, please?
I think it's got sound. That's Blake looking at his phone.
We descend into the Chipotle.
Into the layer.
Got a bunch of hungry boys. Recently in college.
Did you get guac?
No, but did you get guac on the way? Yeah,
All right, so the menu
People really need guac.
is a reveal. It's like $11, $12.
I think we have a receipt review.
Yeah, we do.
Now, I, as a Christian, did not order a burrito. I ordered a burrito.
Mine's a lie. I didn't
No, they
get
charge
steak.
you extra for the tortilla now.
50 cents. But
Yeah,
you get
but still.
easily more than 50 cents.
All right, $12. That's probably going to be the cheapest one. $11.62. That's the cheapest one so far.
What was that?
It's like a chicken burrito.
They have a special. They have like honey
see, there's
chicken
like
burrito.
16, 17
They're showing
bucks.
that. Yeah.
So here's what's interesting.
So for people at home, can you guys read the various prices off here?
Yeah, it's like 11, 16, 15, and I think the most expensive one was 17. But that somebody got like a double protein, like a double chicken. And then there was a chips and guac order on one of them. Anyway, so here's what I would say. What was interesting about this?
So it came to around 20.
It came to less than 20.
If
to
you
be
got
fair.
chips and guac and extra
if you
meat
got- if-
and guac in your burrito.
Okay,
yes.
so here was the order. So somebody got guac in their order, and that jacks it up like $2.50 when you add guac. And then somebody got extra protein, so that jacked it up. And then somebody got chips and guac on the side. So if you did any of those things, you're at about 16, 17 bucks. Now, what's interesting about this, so our little Chipotle here is not in a bad part of town, but it's also not a high rent part of town. And Danny was saying that he just hit Chipotle up in Scottsdale, and they automate the tip at the end. So, when you swipe your card and it goes, how much would you like to tip? And it gives you the options, according to Danny, are like 20 is the lowest, 20, 25, 30% tip, which we can get into. But at this particular Chipotle, they don't even offer a tip option. So you can't, I asked the guy, I said, can I tip? And he goes, nope, we don't. You can tip online. If you order online, you can tip, but you can't tip if you buy in the store.
I'm just baffled.
But had you tipped at 20%, we would have had multiple orders over $20.
Yeah, okay, but I don't feel that's very.
God forbid
I
you
just
get the
don't think
Mexican
I
Coke.
just don't think that's a compelling argument. It's too
And
expensive to buy
I'll-
burritos if I voluntarily give more money to this person who is
I'm
not
just
in a
saying,
normally
tax
tipped
and tip,
field.
Tax and tip added on, you will easily get over $20.
I'll say that. So I
tip at Target?
checked it out with Qdoba and at Qdoba, which is so much better than Chipotle. That so mine came to my normal. Yeah, it's obviously better. That
He's not a capitalist,
just my
though.
normal burrito order without any extras, any drink, no combo, anything like that was $16.85. And then if you had if it's with a 20% tip, because I think we agreed we were going to look at 20% tip, it would just be over $20.
Yep.
And that's without delivery fee.
And by the way,
or,
what's crazy is, so we've gotten a bunch of people sending us images of like different Chipotle menus. They are actually pricing it based on like if they're in a high rent district or whatever. So where we were at, the most expensive steak burrito was like $11.95, and that's before tax and tip and all that stuff. But in San Francisco, LA, Scottsdale, those are $14, $14.95.
Yeah. No, that's about right.
And they offer the tip option just to like make you feel bad.
I saw this Reddit online of a guy that found a receipt from like 2015 from Chipotle, and he was like, "This is how much my burrito cost." So like 11 years ago at this point, and for a chicken burrito is $6.95. So I do think we're at this point, and I think both Jack and Blake are right. I think young people need to manage their spending better, right?
Yeah.
We do love to spend money. I'll be the first to say it. But also like prices have gone up on things and the quality has gone down. And so you will get a more expensive product at Taco Bell and it's even worse ingredients than it was like 10 years ago. And so not only is it bad financially for young people, it's bad, just for their health.
It's almost like two things are happening.
But also like
young people are spending more and things are getting, so
yeah,
two things are exacerbating this at once.
Yeah, Jack, you brought this up earlier, like BNPL. Name another generation that's had to like start relying on basically splitting their pizza order
this was
into
a huge
12
deal,
different
though.
payments.
This was a huge deal with credit cards. When I was going to college, they were just handing out credit cards to everybody,
Yeah.
and people
Yeah,
were
credit
blowing up
cards
their
is
credit.
used to be huge.
Yeah.
It was the biggest thing.
I actually, Scott Besson was here today. Andrew interviewed him and Blake.
did Blake.
And I actually, last time I saw him, I brought up BNPL. And I was like, I think the administration should ban BNPL for multiple reasons.
Based.
Like, one, it's awful. I was like, and two, a lot of the companies that are operating Afterpay, Klarna, like one's an Australian company, one's a Swedish company. I was like, these are foreign governments prying on young people. Like, this is totally tortious. And he was like, that's a good point. I think we need to do that. Like, and it's totally like the administration should do that. I think there needs to be like some steps towards figuring out how to make an economic reality and a future for young people. But I mean, I think you're both right. Like, I don't think
and
there's any.
here's the bigger thing. So Jack will agree with this. This all became a proxy for Iran. Like, so but then it also became sort of a proxy for the DSA, rise of DSA and socialism and Mamdaniism versus like capitalism as well, right? And so what I was not doing was suggesting that somehow, thank you, that's beautiful, Jack. It's worth throwing up. I think it actually looks better than the
I don't get it.
People in the chat are now making memes of Mexican Andrew.
Yeah,
I don't get the joke.
I kind of look like you in that actually. It's because
No,
just
that's
like
literally that's just a
regular
photo
Andrew.
of you from last week. I don't get the joke here.
Just Andrew from last
I
week.
am. Okay.
You really are Mexican.
Wow,
You weren't lying.
When you add
and I have a decent
on, you
tan
totally
layer.
You got the Sanchez on there that you can definitely see it.
All right, so here's the point though. I'm not making an argument that any of this is
Friendly Sanchez
is for an argument in favor of socialist policies and like government controls and price fixing. None of that. What I am saying, though, is if you do not talk to the voters where they are at, and if you are distracted with foreign policy abstractions and adventurism, then people that voted for you to deliver them better economic conditions are going to be frustrated. They are not going to either vote for you, they will opt out of voting, or they might, some of them, vote for the socialist. And so we, as a conservative movement, have to have a message of hope, optimism, and that our ideas are actually working. Because I actually think they are working, but we're not talking about them enough, and we're not focusing on it enough. And if everybody just tells Gen Z that they're a bunch of entitled little brats and they need to like eat crap, horse meat passed off as burrito meat, then that's not going to work. It's not going to cut it. And you can do both at the same time. You can tell them
it won't cut it, but what we do 100% see, people do react to the broader zeitgeist. And so if we're going to say we need to listen to voters, a lot of voters are essentially regurgitating a thing they are already hearing from influencers, and that includes influencers on the right. So one of the reasons people would just say grocery prices are way up is because they hear people on X all exclaiming that grocery prices are way up. And like that doesn't mean there's no reality to it. Like beef definitely got a lot more expensive in the last year.
Walsh is claiming that groceries are up 30%.
Okay, what's overall inflation since 2020? It's probably about that.
Yeah.
And what's wage increase since then? Probably similar to that. Like,
What are the numbers? Pull it up.
You can go check.
Yeah. No, listen, I'm not in the same financial boat as a college student, gladly, happily, but even I am experiencing the squeeze, and that everything is expensive.
Dude, it cost $100 and something to fill up our gas tank the other day.
Yeah.
And I was like, what? What is going on?
And by the way, everybody has their own threshold at which point they go, hold on a second. Like, you know what I mean? So it depending on where you are on the ladder, economic ladder, and Cerno put that, I think, on social media. He said, as soon as gas hits over $100 to fill up my tank, I notice. And I go, oh, come on.
Yeah.
So like $100 is his threshold. So young people's threshold is going to be far, far lower and far more acute than somebody who's 30 or 40 and has a career.
Plus, it's again, you're talking about a system. This is the system I was talking about, the five layer burrito that young Americans find themselves in, because it's not just the price of burritos, right? It's the price of rent. It is the being kept out of the workforce because of migrants and particularly anti-white, anti-male policies that are in there. It is the feeling that they're kept out of the dating market.
Look at the idea of buying a home or starting a family.
Yeah, the average.
The housing market.
When it's like your first time home buyers.
So many various things. And so we wrote about this because we talked about like, why are we in a socialist revolution? It's like all of this is why we're in a socialist revolution right now. And it's why socialist candidates keep winning. And what's really interesting is you go back and we wrote the book, The Unhumans, about communist history. And in the Bolshevik, in the Bolshevik Revolution, what did they campaign on? Well, they campaigned against an unpopular foreign war, which is World War I. They campaigned on land reform because the price of housing, and they campaigned on the price of food. And so Lenin's slogan, which he said again and again, was peace, land, bread. Peace, land, bread. And it's like, aren't we seeing the exact same things play out right now?
It sounds like El Sayed. What is his like money out of politics? He's got a 3-point plan. Money in your wallet and Medicare for all.
So all I can remember that he said was that was that he's like, these Republicans, they can't say my name right. So let me tell you something. You keep my damn name out of your mouth if you can't say.
Is that Indian?
I love it.
The answer is I don't care.
All right, hold on. We've got Zuzu's Pedal says there's nothing more budget friendly than the $5 rotisserie chicken at Costco.
So true.
Amen.
Can we take a moment to appreciate
If you
Zuzu
can
pedals?
afford a Costco membership.
Well, it's like
Costco
60
still
bucks,
costs a
or
membership,
100
though.
bucks. But I mean, honestly, here's what everybody kept saying: you gotta cook, you gotta cook, you gotta cook. And I was like, thinking back to my high school or my college life, I cannot for the life of me remember cooking. Like not once, I don't think.
But that's just part of it. Like part of
did not
what
cook.
is pushing back here is like how, to some extent, this is fake. That actually these are all easily fixable problems, and this is why I do get a little worried if we just say we have to listen to this and have no pushback whatsoever. Is that like
nobody's saying that.
Well, but it kind of is. Like, there's definitely like there's certainly a take where when some people just pointed out, actually, like a lot of places you can get burritos are not that expensive, and they'll just kind of blow up in response and be like, "Oh, really great message you're gonna have there for young people," and like then the tone basically is just you have to let people complain about anything, and if the truth is that you can actually go to a grocery store and get very affordable items. Actually, cooking is very easy to do, easier than ever to learn at this point because there's YouTube guides, there's a million ways to figure it out online. And people just prefer, and you actually have more free time than your parents did 30 years ago. Like, there's actually, like, it's really easy to do, and people just choose not to do it because they like to complain.
Yeah. No, and
there's something to be said that we should push back on the fact that people like to
Couldn't
complain.
disagree more. Totally wrong.
Okay, but I'm right.
No.
Ensue.
Yeah, because I certainly agree that people do spend too much time scrolling, but it's like I don't think people. I think that if you go around telling people that they should just suck it up and that their concerns don't matter, like that's why Syed wins. And Mondami and Francesca, I hate Thanksgiving in Wisconsin. That's what
Wong or
allows
Hong?
those type of candidates to win.
Yeah, I mean, that's my big
Okay.
concern. And, you know, here's what I would say. I believe the free market is the way out of this, but we've also got to confront that conservatives
in a free
have
market?
contributed to the problem with foreign adventurism, runaway spending, not getting serious about the debt. If you want to know what really drives inflation, it's printing money. It's more dollars in the system than there are goods. So more dollars chasing fewer goods in the interest in terms of COVID.
Also war.
And war, you got to print money for war. By the way, war causes issues like we're seeing in the Strait of Hormuz, where you got an energy shock. So these things are policy based, but bigger than anything. And when you're riding a $40 trillion debt and you have a $2 trillion deficit every year, you're printing money, you're borrowing money, you're putting dollars into circulation that's not matched by increased productivity. This is why Milton Friedman was like, set it and forget it. You should increase the money supply every year by 3% and get the economist out of the money supply, because that's what ultimately causes inflation.
But I mean, the fastest way to get inflation down right now is energy costs. And the fastest way to get rid of that is to end this war. And if we didn't start this war to begin with, we wouldn't be in the situation we're in right now. So is this burrito
100%.
debate really just about the Iran war?
Probably.
It's about that and arguing about affordability. People,
No, but
the DSA is
the reason
angling
it's
to
so
get
intense.
Yeah.
The reason it's so intense is the Iran war.
Well, I would also add,
And
like,
DSA.
don't forget, like, Charlie went on Tucker's show last year, like almost a year to the day. And he was like, there are radical problems facing the younger generation. And if solutions aren't given soon, they will look to radical solutions for their radical problems. And so that's where you see on the left, like Mamdani immediately won because he was offering radical solutions. And on the right, you can see radical solutions as well. But it like, if you do not offer a solution, they will look elsewhere and they'll look for a speedy solution. And oftentimes that's a radical one. But it was like, it's
well. So it's important to play back the tape here and remember that moment, because you bring up a year ago with Charlie, right? We have to remember that the Democrats did this in 2024. They were like, the economy's fine, everybody. It's fine. It's just the media is talking about it too much.
Yep.
Well, no, we had 4 years of inflation that was, to your point, it was about 30% inflation. People were reeling from the sticker price of everything.
In the market
so
in
Charlie was
2022.
saying, hey, we won in 24, but this is wet cement. It's not, we don't get these votes guaranteed for the rest of these people's lives. We have to deliver on our promises, which is we've got to bring affordability back. We got to bring growth back because, I mean, candidly, on some of these stuff, whether it's, if it's like beef, dropping beef prices is one thing, dropping egg prices, but you don't want deflation in the economy. That's a disaster. So what you have to do is you have to grow your way out of a previous inflationary period. So you have to unshackle the economy and growth.
Yeah.
It felt like we were on that path for a while, and then it felt like we got distracted and sidetracked with Iran and other things. So the point of making this argument is not that we want socialism. We don't want price fixing. We don't want 30% off at the grocery store. In Mamdani's case, it's going to drive bodegas out of business and cause, it's going to cause shortages and all kinds of other disruptions, and they're going to seize more and more power in that city. We don't want that because that ends in disasters. We want to unshackle the economy, and I think we've got to start educating young people on basic economic principles, because right now I think they think the solution is taking the minimum wage to $20 an hour. They think the solution is forgiving student loans. They think the solution is all kinds of government fixes, which is just going to further distort the economy. That's my
and there are things the government can do, by the way, like mass deportations, that will actually help phenomenally with the labor market. That'll help with the housing market, housing prices, rent prices. So now that those pressures, right, now you're peeling away layers of the burrito because, hey, we are opening up the job market. Hey, we're opening up the dating market too, by the way. We're opening this up. Now, perhaps mass deportations would lead to more, higher prices for like DoorDash or Uber Eats or something like that because there's so many illegals that use that. And if there's lower if there's lower availability of labor for that, then you would perhaps get higher prices on delivery, right? So that could certainly be something that I could see. But at the same time, you're also opening up jobs. If people want to do that as a side hustle, then you could take advantage of that too. If you're someone who's who wants to make an extra buck while you're driving around, then you could go do that as well.
Cars steal it all.
Yeah.
Well, can self-driving cars pick up a DoorDash order? I guess you'd have to you have to bring it out.
No,
they can't.
Robots soon enough.
They'll be able to.
That's an easily fixable
they
problem.
will. Yeah.
They just roll up, the window comes down, the employee goes out, drops it in. Like there's a million ways to do that.
In the next 5 years, DoorDash, as it exists right now, will not even be a thing.
Yeah.
Like the food will not be picked up at restaurants. It's going to be made in these massive warehouses that are like data centers by robots, and then a car will come to the warehouse, pick up the order. And so these restaurants will white label and whitelist basically these warehouses in these machines to make, because the machines
this is already how a huge number of the DoorDash restaurants are. They're just in a random room. They're not a place you can go other than
They don't
for
have
DoorDash.
like a retail storefront.
So the machines have the recipe.
Sounds efficient.
Yeah, they have the recipe for like the burger from Red Robin, and so they will make it right there on the spot, and then they'll box it, bag it, and then it's waiting to be picked up by a DoorDash driver, and the only employee that would be needed is to transfer it from point A into the car.
Now here's the black pill. We're going to have robot Ubers. We're going to have robot DoorDash. We're going to probably have robot making the food in these kitchens. But we'll still have the huge number of migrants that we shipped in because we supposedly needed them to do all of this low wage labor.
Did you guys hear what they're doing in Ohio right now with the Haitians? Supposedly, Post Millennial says that has this up, and I haven't seen a video of it yet. I've kind of been asking around for it. It says they're putting ankle monitors on the Haitians because TPS has ended, so they're putting ankle monitors on the Haitians, and I guess they're tracking them to make sure, hey, if you haven't gone back yet,
get them
you
on a
need
plane.
to do this.
Don't we have 15% of Haiti living in America?
I love a good Haitian ankle monitor.
So it's so funny. Somebody
I'm
was
like,
doing.
I voted for this. I 100% voted for
I
this.
don't want an ankle monitor. I want them with a plane ticket.
Can we get an ankle monitor on Andrew?
Well, no, but
That's
there's
a little
logistical issues to just getting them all out. So for the time being, we're tagging
ankle
them,
monitoring
releasing them back to the
I'm
wild.
so on track with what Blake just said, though. I think I posted about this morning that why is there no serious political concerted effort being made to fix legal immigration? Think about it. Even the Save America Act. Everybody's like, we need the Save America Act. I agree, because we let in all these foreigners. But we really need to stop letting in all these foreigners.
I mean, it's really the really sad thing is it's sometimes pointed out. I think this was pointed out during Lindsey Graham's funeral, where he said, he kept getting higher and higher, and thinking like, who's really in charge of things? And then you discover no one's in charge. And I think immigration is a lot like that. Like you think there's someone deep in the system who's thought about, okay, yeah, we're letting in all of these immigrants, but this is going to have demographic effects and wage effects, and it's going to have this impact on the country, but it's worth it for this cynical or manipulative reason. And then actually the truth is they're all dumb and they don't understand what they're doing. So what you literally have is you have business people who think, I need people to fill these jobs. They don't think, well, what's the long-term effect on this country? They don't think, are we importing a bunch of people who will vote for socialism and take my business away? Don't even think about it. They just... Yeah. It is truly mindless and retarded.
I went to this dinner in D.C. a couple weeks back, and it was like a month ago, I guess. Now. It was right after CLS. So, and I met this congressman, and he's actually one of the sponsors of the Dignidad Act. And
play the music.
Play music. Dignidad.
Oh, come on, Mexican
Spanish word.
Come on,
there
guys.
It is.
Gotta know.
We
do our best.
Dignidad. I got it. Yeah.
We're not getting the human capital we used to in this country.
Easy, buddy.
Tell us about this dinner in D.C.
Yeah, the guy just was like, we need labor. We can't find white kids. Literally, this is what he said. We can't find white kids to man the farms in Indiana. And I said, well, okay, but like you've been saying that for... since 1965, like you've got literally there's 100 million more people in the country now if you count immigrants, their kids, their grandkids, than there otherwise would have been. We have 100 million more people on our population list because of 1965 and because of 1990. And you still can't, it's not like there's more farms. As a matter of fact, there's fewer. And as a matter of fact, there are more like Hispanics working them. There's more automation. There is more tractors. There is more everything that should make the labor needs that you think you need less. And you still can't find workers. When is it going to stop?
Nothing black pills me like just seeing that the Chinese now have boring office cubicle environments where the Chinese guys are driving their agricultural machines in an air-conditioned room with a robot. And then meanwhile in the U.S., you can find videos of guys driving tractors that don't even have a cab on the top still.
That's too black pilly. That's too black.
I know.
It's gonna
too much black pill, Blake.
Okay.
My point is that labor, and then you had Senator Curtis, freaking Senator Curtis. This guy is such a piece of work. I cannot for the life. Blake or Jack, did you cover this story this week? Senator Curtis.
So the states, I haven't talked about it on air, but I've tweeted about it.
The states get to determine how many visas they get, and specialty visas. So you're taking it away from the federal government. Imagine how many visas you think like Blue California, when they get to count all those people in the census for apportionment and for federal grants, are going to let in. Yeah. And then you got the Supreme Court that gives them all birthright citizenship if they drop a baby off here. The whole thing is so ridiculous.
Yeah.
Anyway.
But do you think AI is going to make it better or worse? Because
yeah, we're going to have a permanent underclass of like these cheap foreign labor that we just let in. And
I think
they're
it's
all going to be on the
scarier
dole.
than that. I think it's scarier than that. We might get in a reality. I think there's a lot of people who will say we just need to ban the AI stuff to make sure we have jobs for our imported underclass.
Well, that's
so
like Tucker's
we'll reverse
take,
it.
right?
Yeah, I mean, this is a take of a lot of people. Is basically like we need to have these bottom rung jobs, and our lives will be worse
Tucker's
as a
take
result.
is that he wants to ban self-driving semi-trucks, right? Isn't that like
I'm not sure what
he hates self-driving trucks. That's not even going to be a thing. Okay, so I have a
I'm
friend
okay with that.
owns-
I mean,
I'm not
okay with
because
that.
we're literally going to have hundreds of people
On
die
semis?
a year to make sure that
it's
we
going
can
to
still
end
have
up being a
drivers
net
on the road.
good. I do genuinely think it's going to be a net good, and it's not that actually. There's
So
two.
where do those people?
I have
where do those,
two.
I mean,
well, they're
I
already
think
got their
I
jobs
think as
taken by
a-
illegals.
There's going to be
I
massive
think you need to be
drones.
very, very careful with anything when it comes to trucking. I was just
It's
at the
not
White
gonna
House
be a
again.
truck.
They
Dude.
do the same thing at the ports,
It's
right?
not going to be a truck. There's literally going to
when they
be,
did this, you could be
there's going to
very,
be a
very
massive
careful.
drone that will fly to the ports of Long Beach and it will pick up a storage container that has to be delivered to Scottsdale, Arizona, and it will fly adjacent to the freeway, and it will just go, and it'll be 1/10 the cost. It'll be much faster, and they're going to be flying. It's not going to be on the road.
Isn't that going to take a huge amount of energy?
No,
Really?
no, it's all going to be nuclear energy.
This is really getting ambitious.
No, dude, there's a company right now that's doing this. They're building these massive drones.
Huge. Can you imagine
Nuclear
they're just like
drones?
over your head all the time?
No, it's nuclear powered for their like the batteries inside of it
Okay.
that operate it or the machine or whatever.
But still, I mean, if you're going to pick up like a
Nuclear.
giant cargo container, that's
So,
like a...
Jack, make your point though. Why are you against? Why are you against that? Because
Well,
I know,
I
for
think-
example, the longshoremen they fought this too. Remember automation at the ports? And Trump agreed with them. He ended up backing their play to make sure it's still manned and it's not all robotic and stuff like that.
So here's So number one, we have enough problems with trucks on the road right now because of all the migrants that have been given these trucking contracts and trucking licenses who obviously shouldn't have them. They're getting them from like diploma mills, and it's killing people. Self-driving semis. Can it get there eventually? Sure. But I think it's something you got to be very, very careful with in terms of technology. And at the same time, we know that if you don't have a college degree, that driving a truck is one of the fastest ways that you can get on your feet. And we tell people to pull themselves up by their bootstraps. Driving a truck is a great way to actually do that. And then when you turn around and say, oh, but also we should allow that industry to be destroyed, it's like what are we doing, guys?
Well, okay, but then we could do it far more easily, and we could say we could have unlimited jobs for them. We should just ban like construction machinery and make everyone do it with shovels. That would
You
create
have
a
a
lot
Tesla,
of jobs.
right? Mm-hmm. I have a Tesla.
The
The self-driving
it's so cool.
is so cool and also incredibly safe.
Yeah,
Like it
It's
is
probably
so
safer
safe.
than-
I will trust myself texting and driving.
So
I shouldn't say this.
Foz
Not supposed to do
Foz
that.
says that
I know, but like, it's so, and this is what the technology is now. Like, imagine the technology 5 years from
But
now.
that's driving it. That is totally different from driving a semi. Plus, by the way, making the deliveries at every place that you have to pull up to. You've got parking. You've got a regular,
It parks.
loading docks and all sorts of things. I just think that
It parks in my
that's
garage.
cool. And I know a lot of people who have Teslas that do it as well. And I'm not knocking it. I'm just saying that a semi is like it's like an entirely different category.
How
So,
many road
Foz-
accident deaths do you think the U.S. has in a given year?
isn't it like 25,000?
45,000?
Or 50,000.
It's almost 50,000.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's not just, yeah. Okay, fair
Which
enough.
country
But
has the
semis, so Foz is saying semis are a generation away, too much money, no one will insure it, too precision based. I don't know. Tesla has a semi. They have a semi that is
They
like,
do have a semi.
Yeah, and they've been showing it off. I've seen
And,
YouTube
and they're
videos of it.
working on perfecting it so that it can do deliveries.
So I don't know, man.
and then their
I don't think
robot's supposed to come out this year too, or next year.
Foz says the
Oh, the
first semi
Optimus?
to mess up and
Yeah.
drop off at a loading dock and lose a payload.
I don't know.
and set off a cascade of issues.
I'm incredibly
Yes, obviously.
optimistic about it. I think it's gonna. I think it'll end up being fine. But also, like, you're gonna have you're not gonna buy a robot that can like cook and clean for you in your house.
Oh, you got to
When it
show
comes-
these pictures.
I
of
totally
Chinese
think you will.
robots.
And then also, like, I know a guy who owns one of the companies that I was just
He's
talking
got a
about
sombrero,
earlier.
too.
That makes
It's more of a cowboy hat.
It makes the food in these massive warehouses, and then DoorDashers will come pick it up. I know a guy that owns and operates like a massive company like that. He told me, he's like, by the time your kid is like 13 years old, he every single one of his meals will come from a warehouse, and it'll be healthier, cheaper, and better. And I was like, I don't know if I like that. Like,
I'm not
that's-
sure I like it either. I what I do worry about here is just it's the flattening of everything. So I was actually just reading a book review that was pretty interesting. It talked about how if you're a mom today, like you still do basically the same things your mom did for you. So you put on music for the kid, you like look
some
up things if
laundry.
they ask questions, you make food, like you do all the stuff, or you send
Constantly putting toys
photos.
away.
So like let's say you wanted to put on music for your kid. Even 25, 30 years ago, that means you pull out the CD or you pull out the cassette tape, you put it into this machine, you make sure the machine is working right, and it starts playing. Now you hit a button on your phone. You want to send photos of your kid to family members. 30 years ago, you literally print out a photo, which you probably had to go to a shop to get, and then you put it in an envelope and you pull out a pen and you write on that envelope and you mail it to somebody. Now you push some buttons on your smartphone. And now that's how all things are. You do everything through your smartphone, everything through a computer. And I feel like we're doing that with the robots. It's going to be, you want to get food? Oh, the robot warehouse sends stuff. You want to order a delivery of anything? Oh, you go on to Amazon on your phone and you bring in something from the robot warehouse. And it's like everything is just from a robot warehouse. There's something dark about that.
There is something dark about it. But
No,
I will
agree.
tell you,
I
actually, from an
completely agree
architecture...
that this
ahead,
is
Jack.
where you get socialist. I was just going to say, I completely agree with you, Blake, and that's why I think we need to be careful about all these things. And also, this is where socialist revolutions come from. Just like I was talking about before, the Industrial Revolution led to the Bolshevik Revolution because it was the Industrial Revolution, and on the back of that, so much economic upheaval, which is kind of what we're talking about now, and what Mikey, what your friend, I think our mutual friend, was chatting about.
Future vision.
That about the future is that people are going to be freaked out. And yes, there have been times in the past where that level of freak out has led to some very, very dark outcomes.
Well, I would just say that architecturally speaking, not seeing a bunch of fast food all over the place, I'm not super mad about. That's just me personally. And you're still going to have sit-down restaurants where you go and sit down and eat. So this is pure.
What if that's also robot food? What if it's just robots in the kitchen?
I don't think it's gonna. I mean, okay, it could be robot like line chefs, but I think there will still be like a chef at like.
I think it'll be
good
fine
restaurant.
for a very long time, and I think that we're going to figure out how to live with it. And like I think that our economy is going to reward what works, and it's not going to reward what doesn't work. I think successful families, instead of having like a robot maid, will want to actually hire a person because they want
don't
like
think so.
interpersonal
No,
relationships.
people don't
I'm not
want
so
people
sure
in their
about that.
No,
I think about
I
how
don't know.
breezily people accept things that I think are actually not great, like the degree where they 100% outsource parenting to a screen.
Yeah,
you see people so eager to do that, and
So here's where it's really
Just turn
going.
on Miss Rachel. Just turn on Miss Rachel.
I know. I just think there's a whole movement against that because at least in my friend group that have kids, I mean, everybody's trying to limit screen time as much as possible and trying to keep kids active. I mean, maybe we're the exception, not the rule. I don't know. But where this is really going, which is the
No, I've
question,
seen that.
is that Elon Musk is talking about UBI, and he's talking about
UBI
that
is
everybody, the only people that will work in the future are people that want to work, and everybody else will be living on a universal basic
the
income.
hot take is we already have that.
Yeah,
Kinda.
Charlie talked about the UBI stuff too, very early on. This was like end of 24, beginning of 25 too. As he brought up, we were literally going by the Long Beach, shipping yards, and he was like, and in 5 to 10 years time, those cranes are going to be operated by AI and computers. Those trucks are going to be operated by AI and computers. He's like, all of the unions are going to be out of a job because they just cause headaches. And he's like, it's going to be epic. And he goes, but it's going to be awful at the same time. He's like, it will lead to a revolution. It's going to be awful. And I was like, well, how do you fix it? He's like, honestly, like UBI is the simplest, quickest fix. But then you just have a bunch of people suckling off the teat of the private companies and government that laid them off. They have it in Alaska, though, was the closest example.
Revolutionary
with like oil.
stuff is not coming from people who are in blue collar jobs who are like worried about AI replacing them. The biggest source of like true like Democrat, like DSA radicalism, that stuff, it's coming from people who actually have like normal jobs in a lot of places, but they kind of wish they had like $120,000 a year email jobs or something.
Look at who's voting for guys like El Sayed.
Yeah.
It's affluent white people and third worlders.
Yeah, well,
Imports.
affluent, they sell affluent, but often the windows are like a group that really predicts voting for DSA like 95% level is like people who have PhDs and then they make between $30,000 and $60,000 a year. Which two people making $60,000 a year, if you're a couple, is actually a perfectly livable income. But it feels like, especially if you have a PhD, they often aspire to higher. And there's a lot of anger that comes from that, a lot of resentment from that. Those people are usually not at risk of long-term unemployment, but they do feel like they feel lower status than they should be. And that drives a lot of rage. And you saw that, I mean, with the Bolshevik Revolution. The people leading the Bolshevik Revolution were not literal laborers. It was like extremely angry lower elites, like the sons of clergymen, the sons of professors, in some cases the sons of
Lower
nobility.
elites. I love that.
Yes.
Yeah,
It's
and so
it is a
the
very
leaders,
distinct
the
category.
leaders, this is what, of course, Lenin referred to as the vanguard of the proletariat. So he's like, the working class are not rising. We need to teach them how to rise, right? And so that's where Lenin comes from. And of course, the It's parodied very well in Animal Farm, is the original version, not the new version. And but at the same time, it does grab purchase, and all of these things do end up finding their ways into their homes. And by the way, this is why the Midwest, which has been a heavily unionized area, heavily blue collar unionized area, is now being the test bed for so many of these things. That's why so much of this is coming out of there, whether it's Michigan, whether it's Minnesota, whether it's Wisconsin. You're going to see more. You are absolutely going to see more.
Well, I don't know that we got anywhere here, other than the fact that I'm right. It's dumb to ignore the problems of young people. We are going.
I still think you're a lunatic
if you're gonna,
for tipping at Chipotle. You tip at a sit-down restaurant, you can tip at a bar, but if you are just going up to a cash register and giving them money and receiving food in return, it is weird to tip for that.
I'm a sucker for
but
tipping.
I'll combine the two. I'll combine the 2 weeks, man. If you've got a guy like Kevin O'Leary, who made all of his money by destroying Oregon Trail and Carmen Sandiego, not through a war crime against Gen Y, by the way,
in the world
and not actually being productive in society. And he's running. You got him on TV weeping over a golden Rolex that cost $2 million, and then you've got his buddies turn around the next week and they're like, "Screw you! If you don't want to pay $20 for a burrito, just make one at home." And you wonder why people are upset, and you wonder why young people are turning to a socialist revolution. You are why. Just look in the mirror. You are why. And that's why we as a movement actually need to be talking about things in terms of the national good. I don't like the phrase the common good. I don't think we should use that, but I think the national good, like all of these things that we support, they stop at the border.
Wait, so it's Kevin O'Leary's fault why somebody can't afford a $20 burrito?
That's not what I said. That's literally not what I said. I didn't.
No, he's saying that guys like Kevin O'Leary, when you go and you kind of talk about your $2 million Rolex, it kind of gives it all like a bad look, right? If you're imagine you're struggling, you got like $20 in the account, you voted for Trump, and you're like, "Hey, the golden year is coming," and you're still struggling. The prices are still high.
You can't afford burritos.
Yeah, you can't afford a burrito. And then Kevin O'Leary is talking about his $2 million Rolex. I could see why the optics on that are bad. I still want to be a guy that very much celebrates success. Like I celebrate Elon Musk being the first trillionaire. I totally do. I have no problem with billionaires. Zoran Mamdani talking about should billionaires exist? No, absolutely not. We should not become that grievance-based culture, that jealousy-based culture. That's what fuels this stuff. But what we need to do is we need to be messaging to young people and saying, to quote Bill Clinton, "I feel your pain and I want to help." And we're going to be unleashing all this stuff. We're going to be working with first-time home buyers. We're going to be unleashing the free market to go build a lot of new homes for young people. We're going to be deporting illegals that are stealing your homes. We're going to police the streets so there's more safe neighborhoods you want to live. These are the solutions that we actually need to be bringing to bear. And we need to have our own message. But I think Jack's partly right that when you have people gloating over their wealth at a time of a K-shaped economy, which is a lot more rich people are getting rich and a lot more poor people in the middle are getting poorer, that the timing is potentially problematic. So I actually think both can be right. And I just want to say that we already do put limits on corporations as conservatives. If corporations had their way, they would import millions of foreign illegals and they would just never end, right? Because they want cheap slave labor. And we've already said as a conservative movement, we reject this excess of capital and we want to protect American labor. So there are reasonable things that we can do, right? That are still pro-market, pro-freedom of capital moving. We also, and by the way, Charlie used to talk about this all the time. It's like, what did we do? What did we get in exchange for hollowing out our industrial base in the Midwest? We got a bunch of cheap crap from China that ends up in a trash heap. At some point, these are totally fair questions to ask. And we can still celebrate the capital markets. We can still celebrate entrepreneurs and make that happen. But there are things that I think are good to rein in.
Yeah, that makes sense. Sorry, go ahead, Jack.
No, you're good.
I was just going to say, I want to separate morally and politically. Morally, I do think, spending $1.8 million on a watch, that money should not be used that way.
Yeah.
Like, you can use that money way better.
As Christians.
Christians, like, morally, that is my take. Politically, I'm not really in the business of telling people who have earned their money how to spend their money. And I also am like, I always want to be careful blaming like a socialist revolution on somebody who's just spending their money the way they want to spend their money. But again, like morally, of course, like I have that line in the sand with does that make sense?
Yeah. No, I actually think I'm exactly.
Well, I would say though, it's so I'm sure Elon spends more money than Kevin O'Leary, but also Elon is famous for being fastidious, right? So he's famous for like having a like a 1-bedroom apartment, and he sold all of his houses, and he's a trillionaire, but he doesn't live like he does have his private jet, which he uses to go around and conduct his operations, but he's not like on TV talking about weeping over a $2 million gold watch, right? Yeah. Right. Cause and envy is one of the deadly sins, and so is greed.
He makes things. He also bought Twitter, now X, he did it for, Charlie would always talk about how we need better elites.
It's a national good.
You're always going to have elites. You're always going to have the Matthew principle where, some people just really accelerate and they do a lot of really good things, and their wealth is going to accelerate behind them. What we want to do is we want to make sure that I think of it in terms of investments and incentives. And maybe that's taxes, maybe that's grants, whatever. But you want to incentivize capital. You don't want to outlaw people doing free market stuff, but you want to incentivize good movement. So I love this when Trump was like, okay, car companies, you're going to move your manufacturing facility to Mexico and we're going to lose all these jobs out of Detroit. Well, up yours. I'm going to tariff you 50, 100% if you try and sell those cars back to America.
And that's the difference.
That's incentivizing
between,
capital.
like,
that's national populism.
This is globalism versus nationalism. Goes all the way back to 2016, how we used to always talk about this. And so it's this idea of like an international capital system versus you asked me the other day on the show, like, well, do you believe in capitalism? Like, what do you stand for? I'm like, well, nationalist populism. And I guess the way you would combine it is just say like a national capitalism, right? So the idea of where you support the free market, but you also have borders, you have an identity, you have heritage, you have a country at the same time, and that we're not pushing these things at the at the dearth or at the to the damage of our country, right?
And you had
Joshua Lysak sitting there with like 15,000 Haitians over in Ohio right now.
Yeah, totally. And by the way, Reagan famously used tariffs to protect national industries. Didn't Nixon do it as well? I know the founders did it.
I wouldn't say that Nixon's protectionism was very successful.
Nixon went a little overboard on price controls.
Price controls is different, right? But what other presidents famously used protection, used tariffs or whatever to protect national industries? Lincoln, okay. The founders did. The founding generation.
Well, the founders did a lot of tariffs just for revenue, like protectionism to cultivate native industry, definitely a late 1800s thing, because you had Britain super dominant, and then the U.S. wants to grow their own manufacturing rather than just not mercantilism.
But it's mostly like cotton and clothing and
it was just early manufacturing. Yeah, so
textiles,
spinning jennies, and all of that stuff. And there's other countries that have made that work.
I'm curious on your take. Historically speaking, looking back, has protectionist policies mostly been, have you seen it deployed well? And do you in general support it, or you general don't support it?
It can be done well, but I would say the default is it doesn't work great. There's a lot of...
Reagan... there's a lot of truck industry, right?
There's a lot of political pressure to just turn it into pure rent seeking. So you protect a failing business from its own failures, it's so easy to do that.
Like banking,
examples where it's been successful. I mean, this is dark to say. Examples where it's been successful. It's often worked in authoritarian countries where you have an authoritarian guy who can who can basically like sabotage any attempt to make it a political racket. So if you're Korea, South Korea did pretty successful protectionism. And what they had to do is, for example, they say, we want to develop a car industry in Korea. And one of the things that they do under their autocracy is they say, we're training you so that you can be an export market to other countries. So we're basically not going to let you just cater to the Korean market. You have to be able to export. And if you're not good at it, we're going to like cut this off. And like, you basically have to really... you use it to protect your industry, but if you're using it to just protect it from its own failures, as opposed to just protect it enough to grow and become competitive, and like it can't be, sabotaged or dumped or overwhelmed by a richer foreign competitor, it's not going to work.
Okay, but what about like U.S. steel, for example? We have to make our own steel. We got to make our own vitamin C. We got to make our own cars and rockets and military
National
equipment.
good.
Yeah.
Once again, the national good.
You have to be. What I would say is you have to be careful, because it's very easy for that again to just turn into really expensive rent seeking.
Protecting failing businesses.
You're protecting an obsolete business
that's
that
fair.
shouldn't.
But that's
be
why you want
getting
a
by
lot
anymore.
of competition domestically as well.
So like basically,
So you want Dodge, you want
if
Ford,
you're
you want-
doing protectionism, it should be for the sake of allowing you to build up an industry that is then globally competitive. And that is what China has been successful at. That is what Korea has been successful at. But if you want, there are plenty of countries where they just do that protectionism to protect their local company that is useless, and the product is garbage, and you're forced to buy this garbage product.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, I'll tell you guys, speaking of China right now, one thing I noticed in Europe, dude, there's Chinese cars everywhere. And I'll tell you what else, the technology. So when we were doing like Uber, and sometimes we get picked up in them, and I was like, oh, let's try it out, right? The BYD and different Geely is another one that's out there, and they're nice. The technology looks remarkably similar to that of a Tesla. I wonder why. And I was talking to some of the drivers, and they were saying like, yeah, these cars are really cheap. So they're nice cars, they're cheap. China is bringing their A game when it comes to the car industry. They're bringing.
The scariest thing about Chinese cars is they
very quickly.
The scariest thing about Chinese car industry is they didn't have a car industry at all, basically, in 2012.
Yeah, well, Elon should.
Yeah, I know. That to me, it's
them.
bizarre, because when I lived in China, I don't remember any Chinese cars, and now I go to Europe and I see Chinese like car brands. I'm like,
so
this didn't
Europe
exist.
should probably engage in some protectionism against Chinese cars, maybe, because they have a huge car industry in Europe. Anyways, Zuzu's Pedal says they are upset they can't afford a burrito. People are under communism. We'll never ever have a burrito. Ever explain our us to Gen Z? I explain this to Gen Z. Yeah, fair enough. You don't get a lot of options in a communist society. Okay. Hold on. This is the 1 year. I don't mean to pivot.
Can I respond to that?
Oh, sure.
Just real quick. Here's the problem: is a lot of this is emotional and it's fear based, right? And the problem is and Barra said this so perfectly on Human Events the other day. He said, "You're never going to make people more scared of socialism than they are of not being able to pay their bills or feed their kids." And that's the fight.
Fair enough. So this is, I don't mean to pivot too abruptly here, but we're running out of time here, and I want to make sure that we have some time to address that. This is the 1 year anniversary. You tipped me off to this.
Yeah, I tipped you off because Noah tipped me off to it. So
fair enough.
Full credit there.
Why don't you say it then? The 1 year anniversary.
It is today, specifically today, is the 1 year anniversary of, I think, one of our fondest memories, all of us, which is Charlie got a SouthPark episode about him.
Yes.
And we were all very excited. We all watched it as soon as it came out. 1 year mark.
Dude.
Of the Charlie SouthPark episode. That was so funny. He was so excited. It was very funny because I remember him being very tentative, like, is this a good thing? Is this a good thing? And we're like, yes, this is a good thing. It's amazing.
I remember the first thing. So he put it in our group chat, and it was in our Thoughtcrime chat, and he goes, like, what do I do?
Yep.
And we're like, and it was like Jack, me, Blake, everybody was just like, this is
Charlie's
awesome.
not a South Park guy.
No, because he was like, how bad is this? And we're like, dude, just ride the wave, brother.
Just be happy about it. It's awesome.
And he was like, okay, I can do that.
Let's show some of the highlights.
No, but do you remember him saying, because remember, so the way it worked was, there was the trailer that came out first where you could see like the clip.
That's what I'm talking about.
I think it was even just a screenshot first.
Right.
Oh,
but my point is, it was a screenshot. But my point is, he didn't know how bad he was going to be, lampooned or whatever, in the episode. So he was saying the danger, and I guess we all kind of were talking about it. The danger was, what if he leans in on it and they like destroy him in the episode, and it's just really bad. And I remember we were all just kind of like, doesn't matter, dude, just embrace it, just go all the way in, go literally all the way in, and no matter what they say, just laugh. And that's exactly what he did. It was genius.
Okay, 25 is the setup. I'm gonna trust Foz on this. I don't know what this is. 25.
And now, Watch as Fly Donovan totally destroys these won't live dudes.
Welcome to the channel, guys. Looks like a lot of whiny babies have a problem with what I say, so prove me wrong.
Hey, Clad. Well, you said nothing good ever came from the Jews, but if that's true, why are bagels so yummy?
Yeah. Well, you've obviously been taught by the Jews to have a problem with this school and with America, so let me ask you this. What is your definition of a woman?
What is my what?
What is a woman? It's a very simple question.
Well, a woman is a lady friend who, gives you kisses.
You see, you can't answer the question, but something is male or it is female. Both sides in Scripture agree to that, and that's just the truth. Next.
Another woke student totally destroyed.
Oh, jeez.
Did you call the girls' soccer team a Marxist indoctrination factory?
That is correct.
We actually beat the boys 4-0, you know.
You can whine about American oppression all you want, but you're using an iPhone made by the free market to complain about a system that gave it to you. Girls have it way easy in America, and that's just the truth.
Woke student totally honed.
Women have it good in America, just like black people do. Black people have everything handed to them. And I'm sick of people stealing my stick. If anyone around here is going to be a master debater, it's me. So let's go. Who wants to debate the master debater? Let's go. You right there.
That's the stupidest haircut I've ever seen.
You are wrong. Leviticus 3:17 says it shall be a perpetual statute for your generations throughout all your dwellings. So you can shut up, baby. You just hate America and you love abortions.
Oh, so great.
You just hate America and love abortions. Okay,
You
so this
just
is
hate
the reaction
America,
on
you love
Thoughtcrime.
abortions.
Yeah, this is the reaction on Thoughtcrime
Oh.
after that. SOT 17.
It's the stupidest haircut I've ever seen. First of all, I just think it's hilarious. And secondly, the whole thing is like, wait, so a campus thing I've been doing for 13 years to debate random college kids has now been so important that it gets prominent primetime placement on Comedy Central. I think the whole thing is just awesome and hilarious. There's so much more I want to say about this, but the whole shtick, by the way, Comedy Central, SouthPark, you crushed the water. I compulsively drink water on campus. It's like, okay, boom, we got to stay hydrated. Now, the lozenges, we got to work a little. And by the way, the Holy Bible right next to it. I even said on this campus tour I was going to bring a Holy Bible with me to every single campus stop. I never noticed. I actually genuinely never noticed the water thing until South Park made fun of it.
Oh, I did.
And then I started to see
And
how I see it
the
everywhere.
tea
Yeah.
and the lozenges.
Yep.
But he would always like set down the mic and then drink his water.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, so we have some more. Do we want to play some more?
Yeah, let's do another one. Let's do. This is the master debating part. Let's do 26.
Yeah, but a body growing inside a woman's body is not her body. It's a completely separate being.
Eric, what are you doing?
I'm sorry, Mom. You told me to go to sleep, but I started master debating again.
This is really getting to be a problem, Eric.
Mom, you don't understand. I'm getting really good at this. I have my arguments down rock solid. These young college girls are totally unprepared, so I can just destroy them and also edit out all the ones that actually argue back well. It just feels so good.
I understand it feels good, but that doesn't mean you do it all the time.
I'm sorry, Mommy.
Put the computer away and leave those poor college girls alone.
Okay, I won't master debate anymore tonight. Look, you can call it reproductive rights, but be honest, if the baby could speak, it would fight for its right to live. And
Eric Cartman!
I'm sorry, Mom!
I want more CK reacting to stuff.
So good.
How about
I remember how much.
It's like 18. Okay, Foz is saying 18. We'll play that. It's cracking up Charlie. At one point in another clip, we'll show it. He literally starts taking the lid off, and before he can get a drink in, he sets it back down and grabs the mic and shuts down the person he's debating with, which you do all the time, where you're almost going to take a drink, but then you set it down to get your point in.
Putting down the. That's it. Put it back.
Yeah.
Putting down the mic in between the question. That is that is pure art, South Park. That is a 10 out of 10. Look at that. Putting the mic down. That is pure. And the girl reading off the phone, by the way, with the angry lib face, blah 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 blah. I'm reading, so it's just perfect.
He was so happy. It's hard.
Okay.
What
Should we
about
talk about
what about
the-
22
should we
or
talk
23?
Let's do 23. I think that's a good one.
Okay. I have never, in my time working with you, Charlie, been so blown up with congratulatory text It's like everybody was like, "That's amazing. That's the coolest thing ever." And meanwhile, the libs are like, "Charlie, they're making fun of you. You don't get it." Anyways,
why aren't you mad?
Yeah, I'm mad that you're not
mad. We're supposed to be mocking you.
Yeah,
you can't enjoy it, and then you made it your profile picture. Like you totally. They tried to own you, and you actually owned them owning you. And you turned it into something that's even more powerful. And I love the reaction here because, of course, it's great. This is the great Eric Cartman. This is Cartman who, and this is Cartman's thing, right? He might be mean, but he's never wrong, right? He's always right. And I love the catchphrase right there. You know, you hate America and you love abortion. It's like he's got the Holy Bible next to him and a couple bottles of water. And I'm like, man, if you want to just distill like all of Charlie Kirk down into one sentence, it's like,
yeah,
America.
I love it.
So good.
It was the funniest line. Shut up, baby, because you hate America and love abortion. Oh, happier times.
Special.
Yeah.
Can we should mention that we did the T-shirts, didn't we do them? And then we ended up not using them, but. I think there's like a box somewhere of those T-shirts with like that.
Oh, the artwork that Caboose did. Isn't that what we did?
Was it Caboose's?
Yeah, Caboose. We actually reacted to Caboose in Cut 22 if we want to play it.
We did that. Yeah, let's do that. Yeah, 22.
I want to give kudos to Michael. He's one of our technical producers. He actually did a custom Turning Point drawing, 411.
Oh, yeah.
Throw it up.
We got to show. Look at that.
The 47
that has the
hat.
lozenges, the 47 hat, start a chapter. That's very good, Michael. That's very good.
And it's even got like the rumble thing in the background and the microphone. It's so good.
That's great art.
Then,
did he use AI or did he do that himself? That's very good.
I don't know.
It's construction paper, Charlie.
What?
Construction
by
paper.
hand? Michael, he said by hand in my ear. Michael, you are an artist.
And I have to play this clip before we end, though, because this is CK just kind of taking in what he had accomplished on a cultural level. We didn't play 24, right, Foz? We still have 24? All right, play 24.
And I mean, it's needless to say that what we have done has really has permeated the culture, I think more so than we even realize at times, right? As the actual, I mean, we know it's big, we know it's broad, we know it's impactful, but this is a whole
join
new
you in that, Charlie.
stratosphere.
Wish I would have shut up there and not cut him off. Sorry, CK. That's beautiful to watch.
Do you remember? I forget what happened, but we were gonna wear the shirts all at one point, and we never did with like the regular Cartman shirts, and so I still have that T-shirt like in my closet where I kind of keep like the shirts and stuff that I wear on air, and like I don't know. Just
the master
every time I see it,
debater
I'm
shirts. That was what you were talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the shirt. And I was like, it was gonna be a whole thing. It's gonna be a whole thing.
We miss you, CK.
So every time I look at it, I'm just like, it hits me about how much I miss him, but it's also like all of the plans that we were like in motion, you know, like all the different narratives and operations and memes and it all just stops.
Yeah. Well, Mikey, you remember those days well.
I know. I miss those days, man. These videos are really special though to watch them back.
I'm glad we have so much of them on tape, to be honest.
I'll put it that way. It's I'm at a point with it now where it's like I'm glad we have stuff like that on video, you know, because that reaction, I mean, that's one of the most genuine moments of Charlie I've ever seen on air. That is just his genuine, true reaction. He's not, performing. He's not, playing for the crowd or, speaking to this huge arena. It's just Charlie. It's just Charlie being a dude. He's just being a bro and watching a show that is, obviously targeting him, and he's being a good sport about it, and he's having a laugh with his friends, and that's cool to have. It's just really cool to have.
Mikey, why don't you take us home?
Burritos are great.
Not according to Michael Knowles.
No,
they're overrated.
Jack
Knowles said he didn't like them, I think.
Jack Posobiec's actually a communist?
No,
I'm just kidding. Jack Posobiec is in fact
capitalist,
which I like that.
It's not bad.
It's a good. I like the breakdown.
National
I
capitalism.
kind of wish you were able
That's
to
not
break
bad.
it down last time.
Yeah,
Because then everybody clipped you out of
never know what
context.
Ever's
and,
gonna go viral. I had no idea
they
that
clipped it without any of the stuff that I said after it.
I had no idea that the burrito debate was going to go viral.
Yeah.
It just, you never know.
I think the consensus is, though, just as we're closing out, that Chipotle is much better than Qdoba. Right?
No, that's so completely wrong.
And
We're gonna
is
run that
overrated.
They are the same thing.
I'm
You could
tweeting
have
it.
the
I'm
plot
tweeting it right
twist.
now, and we're gonna find out, Mikey McCoy.
Do
We're
a
gonna
poll.
find out
Do a
right
poll.
now.
That'd be great.
Do an
Yeah,
actual poll.
I'm
Because my
interested to
polls
see.
keep getting hijacked, so we're just gonna do it like a comments.
Well.
We should just get 2 burritos made, like one at a Qdoba and one at a Chipotle.
Oh,
and see
do
if
like a
someone
blind
can
taste test?
Do a Pepsi challenge with it.
And a price
Yeah, I like that.
test. Who's doing it cheaper? It's got to be
Well,
in a similar
Qdoba,
range.
Qdoba's
I like
more
the blind
expensive
taste
by
test
default,
idea.
but I think you get free guac, or did they get rid of that? That's how it was like a decade
Anything
ago.
free is gone. They've gotten rid of that.
What keto? I actually, when I was at Qdoba, when I put in the order, I noticed that when I chose guac, it did not charge me extra.
All right, Mikey, take us home.
All right. Well, how do you want me to take this
However
out? I've
you
never
choose.
taken. Okay, I'll close with this. Okay. I am really thankful for this last year, and I miss Charlie like so much. And watching those videos made me really miss him.
Yeah,
and
me
like
too.
entering, this episode, it was really fun to like joke about burritos and stuff and talk about all this stuff and make jokes and wear these hats and everything. But like, it is crazy to sit in this studio and like just how
Almost
much
a
I
year.
miss him, and like just seeing his smile and his laugh in those videos is like, the best we can do is just continue to like move on as best we can.
I'm really proud of us.
And so
actually.
I am
we've had a
too.
lot thrown at us, and we've done
We
pretty
should say,
damn well.
Blake, thank you for reminding us that it was the 1 year, because that we have to remember the good stuff.
I'm really grateful. I've mentioned I was really grateful Charlie got to see Japan, walk around Korea that last weekend, and I'm really grateful he got to see the SouthPark.
Yeah.
So you take it home with go out there and commit more thought crime.
Go out there and commit more thought crime.
Thought crime is death.